hello, friends. I want to invite all of us in for Shabbat. And you can mosey at your own pace, but it's happening.
Okay, find someone. Shabbat Shalom. We'll commence our service opening our Sidurim on page 129. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is, summer started, right? Like so sunny. And we are here inside, and this beautiful, we should own it. California sun is shining so bright, so beautifully. We will soon be celebrating Kabbalat Shabbat outdoors and enjoying the outside. In the meantime, we are still enjoying the inside and the air conditioning, which is an important feature that we do have here inside and within the confines of our enclosed sanctuary. It is also the Shabbat of Parashat Emor. Emor means say it. It's about things. Lemor, there are several words in Hebrew to articulate saying. Emor actually is a very special one. In our morning services, we say, Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Blessed is the one who said, and the world came to be. So there is something about the words that we say and our ability to create worlds with words, and how we use those words to create the reality that we want to experience, the proximity to the relationships in the way in which we want for them to take place. So there are words that really, really have magic. When you think of words that have magic, what do you think about? Abracadabra, right? And how do you say creation in Hebrew? Bria. And kadabra, kedavar, right? So in Aramaic, so created as it was spoken. Could mean that. It doesn't, Diane, but it's pretty close. So in the meantime, we will use two other magic words, and they are Shabbat Shalom. You might want to say Shabbat Shalom to each other, and we will now invite Rebecca and Wendy to guide us in the lighting of Shabbat candles that you can find on page 120. Next week, she's coming up to the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
May the light these Shabbat candles bring within our hearts the light that we are seeking during this time filled with darkness. May the light of Shabbat reminds us of the light of the creation and the magic that we can bring with our words to our world. As we now turn our Sidurim to page 130 for Psalm 95.
Ishenu nekadma fanav betoda izmirot narialo
nekadma fanav betoda izmirot narialo. Page 131.
Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Baruchu Shemo, Pasru miyom leyom, Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim, Kevodo, בכל העמים נפלאותיו. יאידי, 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 יאידי,
On page 132, Or zaru al tzaddik u'lishrei lev simcha. A light is planted within the heart of the righteous. Joy is the fruit of being a seeker of connection, a seeker of mitzvot. And as we turn our Sidurim to page 133, or as we look into page 133, in Psalm 98, we say, Mismor shiru la'Adonai, Shir Hadash, כי נפלאות עשה. Every Shabbat we take a moment to reconnect with the many wonders that we experience in our routines and that sometimes we take for granted. As each one of these melodies and poems, psalms, goes by, we're invited to think about those niflaot, those wonders that we experience in our lives and that sometimes go by unnoticed. As we enter the Shabbat, we gather them, we bring them close to our heart, and we recognize as gifts that we carry in our routines. We're on page 134.
Zamru l'Adonai bechino v'kol zimra 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 Zamru l'Adonai bechino v'kol zimra
On page 136.
Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Eli. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Yai, 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 Adonaios, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Adonaios, Lemohiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Yai, 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 Adonaios, Lemohiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Adonaios, Lemohiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
Page 137. 38. And thinking about the fact that this week we celebrated 76 to Israel, it occurred to me that it would be a good idea to introduce some Israeli melody for Lecha Dodi. But don't panic. We're going to use it only for a few of the verses, and then we are going to move into a very familiar one. So it goes like this. The melody is very simple. Yailai, yararalai, yailai, yailai, yararalai, and then it resolves lai, lai. Let's try it again. Yailai, yararalai, yailai, yailai, yararalai, lai, lai. So that's the chorus. And as you notice, you already know it. The verse is a bit more complicated, just a bit. Let's try it again. And then it goes. Okay, you have reached the level of expertise that will allow you to play with the words and allocate them within the melody. Lecha dodi likrat kalam Penei Shabbat karela. Let's say it again together. Lecha dodi likrat kalam Penei Shabbat karela. Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה. Let's try together לקראת שבת. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נהסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קום יצא עמי מתוך האפך רעב לב שבת במקרחה באו יחמול עלי חמלה ידנערי מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי על ידני שייכת לחמי קורבה אל נפשי גאלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה. We're going to slow down and we'll try the last one together. התעוררי, התעוררי כי בעורך קומי אורים אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה פני שבת נקרלה פני שבת נקרלה לא תבושי ולא תקהלמי מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי בך יחסו עניי ימין ונבנתה היללתי לה לך
לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה. יהו, למשיסה זוכייך, ורחקו כל במלאייך. יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסוס חתן הכלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי. על יד איש בין פרסים, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. אוהי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. While we are standing, I want to invite you, I want to encourage you to take a moment to say Shabbat Shalom to each other, to reach toward those that you know, but also towards those that you don't recognize, and say Good Shabbos. Katamari. צדיק קטמר יפרח יפרח, צדיק קטמר יפרח, צדיק קטמר יפרח יפרח, צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, יזכה. כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, יזכה. We are at the lower mid of page 140. שתולים בבית אדוני, שתולים בבית אדוני, שתולים בבית אדוני, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו, בחצרות אלוהינו, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, בחצרות אלוהינו, בחצרות אלוהינו, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. תזרנו בשיבה, עוד ינובום בשיבה, דשנים ברעננים מיהו, דשנים ברעננים מיהו, דשנים ברעננים יהיו, יהיו. להגיד כי ישר אדוני, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ואלוהיו להטבו. Page 144, חצי קדיש.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמידן בעלמא ואמרו
Amen. We'll now turn our Siddurim to page 146. Please rise for You may be seated.
As we say in our prayer, distinguishing night from day and day from night, we talk about speaking an evening into being, as Rabbi Nico said, it's speech that precedes the thing. In English, a sound is a reflection of reality, but in Hebrew, sometimes reality is a reflection of a sound. And we take a moment. I invite all of us to take 10 seconds to just listen to the day winding down, becoming night. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim.
Page 150. אהבת עולם בית ישראל תורה ומצוות חוקים לימדת אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם בלילה נגה יומם בלילה ועבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 152. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. We're on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לתותבות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We're on page 156, Emet Bemunah Kol Sod Bekayam Aleinu Ki Adonai Eloheinu. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. We will continue with the silent reading over page 156. Your children witness your presence. They praise your name in gratitude. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel lifting their voices together joyously. Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God. We are on page 158. Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh, norat tehilot osef eleh, norat tehilot osef eleh, hayrai rai malchutecha ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. סהלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם בהר. ילאי רי לי רי 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 ילאי רי 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 ילאי רי 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 Allah rai 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 ai rai 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 ai rai 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 Allah rai 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 Allah rai 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 Allah rai rai ai rai rai Allah rai 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 rai. That it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Israel. And for that place of freedom and redemption is that we seek for the protection, for the shelter that emerges from inner peace. Page 160.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Tzedtenu uvoenu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'amidenu malkeinu lechaim. Blessed are you, Adonai, Garden of Israel, shelter of peace, spread over us, over all your people Israel, well, and over the city of Shalom, Yerushalayim. Baruch atah Adonai, por sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Israel, ve'al kol yoshbei tevel, ve'al Yerushalayim. And we say, Amen. On page 162, we remind ourselves before the Amidah, the Shabbat. We try to align our hearts and our minds into the holiness that the seventh day invites us to experience. Beshamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat. לעשות את השבת לדורותם,
ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת בהי נפש, שבת בהי נפש. Page 164, we'll rise for Tfilat Amidah. We'll recite the first verse out loud together, and then we will continue in silence. Adonai, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. We'll continue in silence. הקדוש בשיר הקדוש בכל ישיר וכל עוזר ברוך אתה בני האל הקדוש. אתה כדאי שתהיה משהו בילים שלך אותו? אין מה יהיה, רוצה מנוחתנו קדשנו מצוותך בתחינו ומתוך ראשון. שבה, הארץ הראינו, תחתמה ותקרא ותהיה רצון בני עבוד ישראל למך. If you need to continue with Tfilat Amidah, we invite you to do it at your own pace. Otherwise, we are on page 180. ולרצון אמרי פי, בהגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני, צורי בגואלי, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. And let's read together in Hebrew, עשה שלום במרומיו. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, באמרו Amen.
At this point in our evening service, I want to give us all a moment to acknowledge those in our community in need of healing, in need of respite, in need of a Shabbat of the soul, in need of a space free from addiction or malady or infirmary. And I invite you here to share aloud, as my eyes go around the room, the names of anyone you may be thinking of holding close in your heart at this moment, to share that name with the community. Now you can join me with the words of our short prayer. Ana elna refanala. Ana elna. Ana elna. Ana elna. Ana elna. Ana elna refanala. Oh, Ana elna refanala. Oh, Ana elna refanala. Oh, Ana elna refanala. Ana elna. Ana elna. Ana elna. Ana elna. Ana elna refanala. Oh, Ana elna refanala. Oh, Ana elna refanala. Oh, Ana elna refanala.
Wish to all of you, to all of them, רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה, a complete recovery and well-being. And we say, Amen. Forgot about it. One of the most important lessons I have learned in nearly 14 years of parenting is that my greatest frustrations often arise when my children's behavior doesn't reflect what I believe I have taught them. I expect them to know certain things, but I have often realized that I haven't verbalized or clearly modeled those expectations. This realization has been both humbling and enlightening. Albert Bardura's social learning theory suggests that observation and modeling are key to how and why people learn. In his 1977 book, Social Learning Theory, Bandura explains most human behavior is learned observationally through modeling. Literally, from observing others from observing others, one forms an idea of how new behaviors are performed, and on later occasions, this coded information serves as a guide for action. My children didn't hear that. They do know. This theory extends beyond direct experience and emphasizes the importance of observing others in order to learn new behaviors. In the workplace, social learning can be effectively used to model productive behaviors.
However, this process is not passive. It requires attention, retention, reproduction, and some level of motivation. Now, the counter to social learning is the illusion of transparency, where we mistakenly believe that our thoughts, feelings, and expectations are obvious to others. This illusion can create significant misunderstandings in parenting and other areas of life. We think that we have communicated something clearly, but unless we have explicitly stated it, there is no guarantee that our message has been received. In our tradition, modeling is crucial, but the spoken word holds immense power as well. This week's Torah portion is called Emor, say it, or say. One of the key teachings of this Torah portion is the responsibility parents have to communicate clearly with their children. The parsha begins, and it's at the first sentence of the Torah portion. The parsha begins, Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, Emor el HaKohanim bnei Aaron, ve'amarta elehem lenefesh lo itama be'amav. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the priest, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, none shall defile himself for any dead person among his kin. The Talmud in Yevamot discusses the concept of indirect instruction. It suggests that rather than explicitly instructing children to perform certain actions, we should create environments where they can learn and understand through experience and observation. Social learning. The Talmud is for social learning. For example, the Talmud discusses leading boys and girls to where keys were lost and allowing them to find the keys on their own, particularly in the context of Shabbat. It's a huge discussion. I'm making this very, very short. Just if you go and look exactly for this, what you're going to find is the discussion in the Talmud about the difference between public and private domain and how that affects Shabbat and how you are supposed to teach that to your children. So be aware, this is a kind of a radical summary of what the rabbis are saying. Now, and allowing them to find the keys on their own without direction or instruction. This demonstrates the principle that children can learn and act correctly through guided experiences that are modeled. On the other hand, going back to Emora Marta, say, you shall say, this combination of words that sounds very weird in Hebrew, Rashi explains that the repetition of the word say, and again, thou shalt say unto them, is intended to admonish the adults about their children, that they should teach them to avoid defilement. So Rashi says this is actually a piece of criticism for parents. Rashi says, do not assume, and he's aware of what the Talmud is saying in Yevamot, do not assume that they will gather the information. You are supposed to tell them and be specific. So I want to say that the tradition suggests that both modeling and verbalizing should take place. While we hope that we have modeled and verbalized
what we have modeled and verbalized will influence our children's worldview, there are moments when we see their behaviors and we realize that we might not have effectively communicated or demonstrated things that are actually important to us. How we truly taught them about community. Did we model the value of community for them? Did we actually verbalize that for them? How we taught them about commitment. Did we model commitment? How we verbalize commitment? What about Judaism? How we taught them the value of Judaism? And if these three were easy, what seems to be particularly relevant, what about Israel? What about Israel? How we taught our children about Israel, how we model the value that Israel has for many, many of us. When we recognize this dissonance, it is a call to action. Regardless of their age or stage in life, it is never too late to verbalize or model the values that are dear to us. These include children that might be in college right now. Each situation may require a different approach. For some, verbalizing our thoughts and beliefs might be most effective. For others, modeling behavior through our actions might be more impactful. Many parents are dealing with this gap, particularly when it comes to complex issues such as Israel. In an article from The Forward, a father discusses how he stays close to his son while arguing over Israel and Palestine, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a loving relationship despite different views. All kinds of resources have emerged in websites such as Jewish Learning Works, offering guidance on how to talk about Israel and Palestine with young adult children, stressing the need for open and respectful dialogue. And here there is another thing to recognize. Open and respectful dialogue is also a crucial thing, and it needs to be modeled. So modeling, verbalizing, and engaging in dialogue. It is not time to shy away from what is important to us, nor from what we want our children, families, and friends to know. In some cases, the best approach might be to verbalize these values. In others, it might be to model them. Other possibility is to engage in dialogue. What is certain is our obligation to engage in the transmission of what we care about. We must do this not from a place of frustration or disappointment, but from the motivation that emerges from sharing and teaching with love. May we find the courage to speak and the wisdom to model the values we hold dear, ensuring they live on through our children, and may we embrace the power of those spoken words and the strength of our example toward building a legacy of love and integrity. Shabbat Shalom. We'll now take a moment to count the Omer. You can find the blessing for the counting of the Omer on page 570. We are counting the 25th day of the Omer, which will make it for, come on friends, simple math. Our treasurer is here. If you don't make it quickly, 3 weeks and 4 days. You're the content as well. So 3 weeks and 4 days for the counting of the Omer. Are you on page 570? 570. 5770. 570, the counting of the Omer, and the number for 25 in Hebrew is Kaf Hei.
הנני מוכן ומזומן, הנני מוכן ומזומן, הנני מוכן ומזומן לקיים את מצוות עשה, כמו שכתוב בתורה, הנני מוכן ומזומן, הנני מוכן ומזומן לקיים את מצוות עשה של תפילת העומר. I am ready, we are ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Please join me. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על ספירת העומר. היום יום 25 שהם 3 שבועות ב4 ימים לעומר. Today is the 25th day, which is to the counting of the Homer. Please rise as we turn our study to page 586 for Aleinu Leshavech. We will invite our children to open the ark.
I want to invite everyone here who is under the age of bar and bat mitzvah to come up. You already beat me to it. Gentle, gentle, gentle.
Aleinu Leshavech l'Adonai. בראשית, שלא עשנו כאויי רסות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם בגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים
ומשתחווים ומודים
לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. page 590. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר
וחיה אדוני
למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated.
Maybe close it. Friends. אחד, one. כן? לא שתיים.
At this point of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. We first want to offer our condolences to Jenny Shane on the passing of. We will invite you to rise in a few more moments. We want to acknowledge you and offer you our condolences in the passing of your of your father, Joseph. We will now remind also the mourners that are during the cycle of the year of mourning, those that are acknowledging a birth, a yahrzeit. And then we will invite those that are in the room that are remembering someone in the week, the month, or the year of mourning, or have a yahrzeit to rise. We are thinking of
Irina Grinvald, Alan Herman, Bernie Greenfield, Rocky Flanagan, Pearl Sandelman, Kazue Shimokawa Fleischman, Carolyn Litwin, Carl Simon Burns, Arita Perry France, Tracy Taub, Sherwin Kotowski, Lance Vault, Lillian Sidlow, Gail Frankel, Bruce Roberts, David Sherman, Alfreda Massman, Sally Small, Rabbi Jerry Levy, Judith Schwartz, David Banke, Steve Taub, Louis Stick, Song Nguyen, Diane Kalmus, Gary Bronstein, Ilya Rabinovich, Bonnie Epstein, Mahin Bahun Sinai, Guy Iluz, Mark Allen Grubbs, Connie Shine, Rosemary McGuan, and Stanley Rich. Sandy Bime, Jerry Levy, Rosalie Berkovitz, Adrian Friedman, Clifford Richardson, Eleanor Hill, Daniel Knipe, Sander Koff, Henrosa Benito, Marcel Cunningham, Madeline Salzman, Kevin Scott, Robert Kilgore, and Dahlia Schneider. We remember as well those who died at this season in years past. Bertha Kula Zuckerman, Clara Deitz, David Eisen, David Zuckerman, George Zuckerman, Herb Brunner, E.B. Goldspiel, Jack Goldman, Jacqueline Rubenstein, Larry Weinberg, Molly Whale, Martha Alberts, Mary Zweig, Nancy Goldsmith, Patricia O'Kane, Ruth Aaron, Ruth Felder, Samuel Greenberg, Sophie Mitnick, Tofi Friedlander, and Warren Felder.
If you are during the first 7 days of morning Shiva, please rise and share with us who you're remembering. Father Joseph. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you are during the first 30 days of morning Shloshim, please rise and share with us who you're remembering. And so if you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning, and if you have a yortzeit this week, the anniversary of someone's passing, by this time of the year in years past, please rise and share with us who you're remembering. Jonathan?
Toby Friedlander. David Eisen.
I have my whole grandparent list: Bertha Kula Zuckerman, George Zuckerman, and my uncle David Zuckerman.
Jill?
My father, Samuel Greenberg. My mother, Mary Zweig.
Now you can support our fellows while standing or sitting, joining us with your voices or your hearts for Kaddish Avelim, Mourners Kaddish on page 598. Itgadal, Beit Kadash Shemerava, Belma, Divra, Chilute, Beamlich Malchute, Bechayechon, Uvyomechon, Bechayedechol, Beit Israel, Ba'agala ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יהא שמר רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי אלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושילתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם בעלמה, באמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, באמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your lives. יהי זכרם ברוך. You may be seated. We'll invite Miriam to share a few announcements. Is this your first time sharing announcements? Okay, you know the procedure? There is a dance that we usually do. Sheldon established that a couple of weeks ago.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Miriam Brody, and I'll start right in. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Shabbat Cafe in the foyer. Torah study after that at 9:30, and services start at 10:30. There's a lunch and learn at 12:30 tomorrow with Ophir Gutelzan, and this is to hear his journey becoming an activist, firsthand experience of our members from the South Bay Solidarity Mission to Israel this past February. So I'm sure you're welcome to come, but preferable to register online. Sunday, there's a braid performance at 12 p.m. What do I do with all this heritage? Enjoy this whimsical and thought-provoking journey into the lives and stories of Asian Jews, holding two age-old traditions in their hearts, and you can find more information about that online as well. Next week, Thursday, 8:30 in the morning, May 16th, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. Pirkei Avot with Rabbi Aaron and Rabbi Nico together on Zoom, and there's a link online to register for that. Also save the date for June 11th, a Shavuot festival, children's festival starting at 5:30 p.m. That's Tuesday, June 11th. Desserts. Rabbi Dalia Marks, a world-renowned scholar of Jewish liturgy, on the secrets of Ruth, and so register soon for that. I think that's it for the announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. It was really, really good. We did miss the dance part, but next time. So I want to tell you a quick story about the scholar that is going to be visiting Shir Hadash, Rabbi Professor Dalia Marks. A couple of months ago, I was in New York having a conversation with another renowned scholar in liturgy. And this teacher was teaching something that I heard about 2 weeks before when I was visiting Israel, and we met Rabbi Marks for a conversation. And I raised my hand and I asked, what about this and what about that? And he or she kind of said, well, whatever, and dismissed the comment. And a couple of minutes later, when the class ended, I said, the reason I was asking to you is because actually, it's not that I actually know this, but I actually heard it from Dalia. Which Dalia? So, Professor Dalia Marks, she said, and I actually took a note, which is unusual for me to take a note. Usually remember, I took a note, and this is here. And then the professor, other professor, looks at me and says, so Dalia said that? Yeah, Dalia said that. Let me take a look. And all of a sudden, I was there, and he was at my phone, and I also Googled it, and she wrote about this. So we had this very interesting conversation in which I became way more credible. Thanks to my beloved teacher. It's a privilege. It is a real privilege. I think he was a teacher of yours as well. And Dalia is also Rabbi Marks is also a mentee of Rabbi David Ellenson, who passed away just a year ago. So she's really a fantastic scholar, a great opportunity to learn with someone who lives in a different world, scholastically speaking. She will be teaching the secrets of the book of Ruth, the most unlikely love story in the entire Bible. So we encourage you to join us in Shavuot and to establish a tradition of celebrating Shavuot big and seriously here at Shir Hadash. Not that we weren't serious before, but we're going to be bigger this year because there are lots of things that are going to be happening, and we would love for you to come. We will now turn our student to page 122 for Kiddush Shel Yom HaShishi.
Come here.
Please rise.
Grab that mic. Grab the mic. Vayechu Hashemayim, vayer vayivoker Yom HaShishi, vayechu Hashemayim ve'haaretz ve'kol zeva'am, vayihal Elohim b'yom hashvi'i, melachto asher asa, vayishpot b'yom hashvi'i, melachol melachto asher asa, vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i, yikadesh oto, ki vo Shabbat mechol melachto, asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, inchilanu, zikaron למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, כיוונו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen. We'll now take a moment to share blessings with each other. We invite you to stand next to your family, your chosen family, your close friends. If you're on your own, make sure that you make eye contact with someone. And one of the beautiful things that happen in Shabbat is that our standing together is beyond generations. It's beyond generations. The generations that came before us reach to us in blessing if we have the ability to bring them, to gather them in our hearts.
Thank you.
We acknowledge each other in blessing, and we reach to the generations that are yet to come with our love and with those loving messages that we want to share with each other. In Shabbat, we celebrate and we acknowledge our creations. As we say to our children, Yasimchem Elohim k'Efraim beKemenashe, Yasimchem Elohim k'Sara Rivka, Rachel veLeah. And we say to all of them, to all of you, Yibrechem Adonai veYishmerechem. May God bless you and protect you. Ye'er Adonai panav elechem bichunekem. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elechem. May you find within you God's presence always. And may God bless you with the peace and the determination to live and be who you are with your values. May God instill that sense of peace within your heart. Yasem lachem shalom. May God brings peace to all of us. Adonai os le'amav iten, Adonai yevarech et amo, et amav bashalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom mevorach everybody.
Shema Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol et ubechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim